Hey, everybody. Today we're going to look at conflict and the stances that are part of the Enneagram framework and how they affect relationships. So imagine your home is filled with harmony and peace and mutual respect. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Well, understanding the stances can help you bring that to your home. So let's look at what the different stances are and how they affect our relationships. So I'm going to enlarge this so you can see. Can I move myself out of the way here? Let me move here so you can see. Okay. So there's several different types of interpersonal coping styles, and that just means how individuals engage with the world and approach relationships. So each stance offers unique insights into how individuals engage with the world and how they navigate conflicts. And the three types are the assertive style. They're the gold, and you can see in the diagram there's it's 8, 7, and 3 that have this stance, and that means they move against people. The second one is called the dutiful style, also known as the compliance style. And those are types in that green triangle 1, 2, and 6, and they move towards people. And then the purple triangle there, 9, 5, and 4, is the withdrawn style, and they move away from people. So let's look at the different stances. Um, the first one we're going to look at is the assertive style. And the assertive style embodies confidence, assertiveness, and a proactive approach to life. Individuals in this stance are direct, decisive, and unafraid to assert their needs and opinions. So they react to stress or difficulty by boosting, reinforcing, or expanding their sense of self rather than backing down or withdrawing. When entering a room, they automatically infer that everything meaningful and important that is happening is connected to them. And some of the positives of this stance are that they assert their needs and boundaries clearly and decisively. They encourage self advocacy and empowerment. It can lead to swift resolution of conflicts when used appropriately. But of course, the negatives would be that it can escalate conflicts and damage relationships. They prioritize winning over understanding or collaboration, and they can create a power imbalance or foster hostility in relationships. All right, the next style we're going to look at is the dutiful or the compliant stance. And this reflects a desire for harmony, cooperation, and following rules or expectations. And these guys are interested in peacekeeping, avoiding conflict, and maintaining stability. So they react to stress, the ones, twos, and sixes, or difficulty by serving others. They ask themselves, how can I satisfy the expectations others have of me? How can I be a responsible person? They believe they must do something to get something. They are loyal and committed. They become compliant and do what they believe is expected of them. And they live with a lot of oughts and shoulds. And they believe they must shut down their wants and desires and instead do things on behalf of others to be loved and accepted. All right, so let's look at some of the positives of the dutiful or compliant style. It promotes empathy and understanding towards others' needs and preferences, fosters harmony and cooperation in relationships, and prevents unnecessary conflicts and maintains a positive atmosphere. The negatives, it could lead to neglecting their own needs, enabling unhealthy behaviors to persist, and may result in feelings of resentment or frustration if their needs are constantly unmet. Okay, and the last one is the withdrawn style, types 9, 5, and 4. And this stance embodies introspection, self reliance, and a tendency to retreat from overwhelming or stressful circumstances. Um, People in this stance might appear reserved, reflective, or cautious in their interactions. So they move away from people because of fear or expectation of not having their needs met by others. They react to stress or difficulty by moving away from others in the world. Instead of moving toward their inner world of imagination, they instead do move towards their inner world of imagination and can be considered zoning out. When they enter a room, they automatically sense they don't fit in, and they feel they have to summon up the energy to face the world and life. Okay, now we're going to look at the positives and negatives of the withdrawn stance. Positive is they maintain surface level harmony and avoid immediate confrontation, although, of course, that can end up leading to confrontation and conflict later on. Prevents escalation of conflicts that may be trivial or inconsequential. And some of the negatives are they often have unresolved conflicts or resentment. They may not have effective communication and problem solving skills. And it would probably bring a false sense of peace while underlying tensions persist. So if you're a withdrawn person and you're having a conflict with an assertive person, the withdrawn person may feel overwhelmed or intimidated by the assertive person's directness or assertiveness. They may withdraw further or become defensive, feeling unable or unwilling to engage in the conflict on the assertive person's terms. And if the withdrawn person is in a conflict with a dutiful person, they may feel overwhelmed or pressured by the dutiful person's assertiveness or insistence on resolution. If you're an assertive person in a conflict with a dutiful person, you may perceive the dutiful style person as passive or overly accommodating. And if you're an assertive person in a conflict with a withdrawn person, you may become frustrated or impatient if they perceive the withdrawn person as avoiding or dismissing the conflict. They may push for communication, expecting the withdrawn person to engage more openly and actively and to resolve the conflict. And then if you're a dutiful person and you're in a conflict with an assertive person, you might feel overwhelmed or anxious in the face of assertiveness from the other person and may struggle to assert your own needs. And if you're a dutiful person with a withdrawn person, you may feel frustrated when the withdrawn person avoids the conflict or withdraws from the conflict and interpreting that as a lack of commitment or engagement. Okay, so by applying the Enneagram stances to your parent-teen relationships, you can gain valuable insights into your respective communication styles, emotional triggers, and conflict resolution tendencies. So, and if you are an assertive parent with a compliant teen, you may find yourself in conflicts where you're assertively expressing your needs while your teen is striving to maintain harmony. Understanding this dynamic allows you to adjust your approach and balance assertiveness with empathy and flexibility. Similarly, if you're a withdrawing parent and you have an assertive teen, conflicts may arise when your teen's assertiveness clashes with your desire to avoid confrontation. By acknowledging this tension, you can create a supportive environment that encourages open communication and mutual understanding. And let's look at an example of a specific example of a curfew. Let's see. If you are a parent that is assertive, you might assert your authority by imposing strict curfew rules and enforcing consequences for violations. They may engage in arguments or power struggles with the teen to assert their dominance. And a common response a teen might have in this situation is that they would rebel against the parent's strict rules, pushing back against the perceived control or restrictions on their freedom. They may argue with the parent or engage in risky behavior to assert their independence. All right, and then we have the dutiful parent. If the parent's dutiful, they can consistently allow the teen to stay out late, accommodating their desires to avoid conflict. They may justify the teen's behavior or downplay the importance of the curfew. And the teen could then take advantage of the parent's leniency, pushing boundaries and staying out late without facing consequences. They may not take curfew rules seriously, assuming they can always negotiate with their parent later. And a withdrawn parent might even avoid having the discussion about curfew rules as long as they can, hoping to avoid confrontation or conflict. They may ignore the issue or change the subject when the topic arises. And in this case, the teen could avoid bringing up the curfew topic with the parent, fearing their reaction. They may stay out late without informing the parent, hoping to avoid punishment. All right, so the Enneagram stances serve as a roadmap for navigating conflicts with grace and compassion. Rather than viewing differences as obstacles, we can see them as opportunities for growth and learning. By honoring each other's perspectives and strengths, you can create a harmonious and fulfilling relationship that's grounded in love and understanding. I want to share this testimonial just to see how Tina responded to Enneagram coaching and how it helped her to understand her whys. So she says, for many years, I have noticed these things about myself that I've wondered about, though it was weird and I felt stuck. Why is it so hard to make a decision sometimes? Or why do I get torn up inside when someone is upset at me? Why do I get frazzled when plans change or so hurt when my husband doesn't follow through on what I asked? Counseling didn't answer the longing to understand the why of my heart, the frustration of my actions, and how to know God in it. So I prayed and prayed about these things, and then I found the Enneagram. It was like things started to make sense about myself. All these scattered parts of myself came together, and God showed me his path. I felt the nearness and compassion of God in the design he made me, so I could be more compassionate to myself and my struggles, now understanding more of my why. So, if you are interested in knowing more about your whys, understanding the way you show up in conflict is one of the ways the Lord can use the Enneagram to grow you to be more like him. Working with a coach can help you see the whys of your thoughts and behaviors and how to grow into a more healthier version of you. You'll also learn and understand why those you love have their own valid whys and how to better relate to them. So, if you're interested in understanding your why and your child's why, so you can significantly improve your relationships with them, please send me a DM if you want more information. I appreciate you being here and listening. If you have any questions, please send me a message or make a comment. And I will see you again later.